more Arizona basketball, player-by-player evaluations. Then we are going to go down and we're going to talk some Arizona football recruiting, a lot going on, and a little bit of Arizona basketball recruiting. Let's get started here on Locked On Wildcats.
You are Locked On Wildcats, your daily podcast on the Arizona Wildcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi, I'm your host of Locked On Wildcats. My name is Mike Luke. All right, we got a lot to get to this show, but first, we got to continue to talk about the win of the season for Arizona basketball, and that was against the Tennessee Volunteers at home at McHale. Now, as we've talked about, and I firmly believe this is going to be a win that is going to age very well for Arizona. And one of the reasons it's going to age very well is because, well, quite frankly, this is a good team. Tennessee is a good team. They are a team that, let's be honest, this is probably a top 15 team pretty much all season. And if it's not a top 15 team, it certainly is in that top 20 range, very much, close to being in there for sure. Now, Arizona, player by player, let's talk about it. Azuolas Tubelis and Oumar Ballo, they have been absolutely fantastic. That's the best big man combination in college basketball. And quite frankly, I don't even know that it's close. And if it isn't, I'd be very curious to see who is better. I don't think there is a team out there that is better. Now, player by player, though, Arizona has a really, really interesting situation here because you've also got two big men that feed off of each other very well. You can tell that Azuolas Tubelis and Oumar Ballo, they're kind of on this subliminal wavelength right now where they both, are kind of, they know where each other's at. And that's a unique quality, especially for big men, because big men a lot of times don't have that. So again, they play off each other well. The high load, the high low passing is next level. There's just a real comfort level with them that you don't always see. So again, as long as these two guys are in games, Arizona is going to be in games, and they're going to have every opportunity to win some of these games. Now, there's some other things that come to it when it comes to Arizona basketball, and that is on the wing. Pelle Larsson has been beat up a lot this year. I have beaten up Pelle Larsson. My bad, Pelle. I do apologize. I shouldn't have said that you. Well, either way, you were really big when it mattered, and I think that was and that's what matters. I hate when Pelle dribbles because he can't dribble, but when he plays the way that he can, finishing plays out the way that he did, I think that's a unique quality that he has in his bag, and that one at the end of the game and the shot from the wing. Those were both plays that Arizona absolutely needed, and if it didn't happen, not sure they win that game. Made the free throws. He does some really odd things from time to time, weird turnovers, but at the end of the day, if he's your third or fourth best player, that's more than okay. Courtney Ramey, I love Courtney Ramey. I know that, it was just basically threes that he shot last game, but he was in there at every single. I mean, how many of those threes were just really, really big threes? And that's just kind of the way it is with him. He's been a very welcome addition. I like him. There's a comfort level for me out there when Courtney Ramey is in the game. Then Kerr Kriisa, you take the good with the bad with Kerr. I think the one thing that is a little frustrating about him is that what happened against at the end of that game just shouldn't happen. You can't be swearing. You can't be walking onto the court I mean, that could have been that technical turned the tide of the game right there. Now Arizona was able to recover from it. So, I guess that you look at it and you're like, all right, well, it's not the worst. It's not the worst thing in the world. But sooner or later, stuff like that will come back to bite you. So again, I'd like to see him keep some of the flair, but at the same time, also, just tone it down a little bit. Realize when there's a time and there's a place. Realize when that time and that place is for to be able to really make that next move right there. All right, now when it comes to Arizona basketball recruiting, this was a big weekend for Arizona basketball, as you had Carter Bryant and Jamari Phillips both on campus. Let's call it the way it is. A lot of people are a little surprised. I think that Tommy Lloyd hasn't been able to recruit at maybe a little bit higher domestic level, given how good his teams have been and how fun they play. But, just kind of is what it is. These are two guys, though, if you're Arizona, you'd love to get, because Arizona was on them early, especially Carter Bryant. Arizona was one of his first offers, and Carter Bryant has talked about how much he's grown up liking Arizona. This is a kid that Arizona should be able to get, and same with Jamari Phillips. I'm not sure that Arizona won't be able to get both of them. Now, again, recruiting is very how do I put this? Recruiting is very fickle. We all know that. But if you can get a player like that, I think that you feel pretty good about it. And I think Arizona should be able to get them. So everything kind of goes from there. If Arizona gets them, then I think you feel pretty good about where Arizona stands in the grand scheme of things. And we'll certainly keep you up to date on that, because, again, these would be two massive gets for Arizona. And like I said, I think it would alleviate some concerns, to put it out there. All right. Now, talking about a guy that has really recruited at a high level, and that is Jedd Fisch. Now, with Jedd Fisch, the one thing that you look at and you're like, all right, you got to be able to build on it, because you got 1 win in year 1, you got 5 wins in year 2. Now you want to get into that 7 or 8 realm. So let's talk about some of the guys that he was able to bring in the transfer portal. Let's see here. Now there's a couple guys that obviously were very, very big. Michael Wiley. We haven't given this enough due, but Michael Wiley coming back has been huge. Michael Wiley he's one of those players you don't really realize, you don't appreciate entirely until you see his stats at the end of the game. He's got 80 yards running, and he's got 35 yards receiving and a couple touchdowns. But he's a big time running back. And even though I like all 3 running backs, I think that Arizona is kind of at the point where he's your lead dog. Then DJ Williams, Jonah Coleman will be there. I think Jonah Coleman will eventually be that dude. But right now, and it's a good thing that you got Michael Wiley back. Pretty much no other way to put it. Then you get Malachi Riley, a highly rated receiver out of California, who fits right in with what Jedd Fisch has wanted to do. Jedd Fisch has talked about how he wants to be big. He wants to be big, and he wants to be athletic on the outside. This fits right in. This is another guy who's about 6'2", 6'3", something like that, and he's got pretty good speed. He should be able. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he's able to come in. He's able to start pretty early on. I mean, he's a nice little pickup. And again, for Arizona, that's what you want, though. That's what you want, players that are able to come in and make an impact fairly quickly. And I think Malachi Riley will be that. Again, Jedd Fisch has talked about it for longest about how, if we're going to miss with big guys. He's gotten some really, really good players in there. Excited to see what continues to happen with all of those players. But Malachi Riley, another guy. And keep in mind, too, I think a lot of people were bummed that Arizona didn't get Trey Spivey, kid out of Phoenix. This is Malachi Riley, and this isn't a a knock or sour grapes or anything, but he's a higher rated guy. And sure, you'd love to have Spivey, but you're more than okay with Malachi Riley. Then the other wide receiver position, you've got Tretch Kekehuna. Great name. Going to be an instant fan for sure. I think that's probably safe to say. But out of Las Vegas, not the highest rated kid, although if you look at it, Rivals has him as a 4-star, so you could go with that. Pretty good offers though. Oregon offered him, and you watch him, and he's a guy that just knows how to get open. I mean, there's players out there that just know how to get open, and Tretch is one of those guys. I think that this Arizona coaching staff, as long as Jedd Fisch is here, I don't really have any doubts that they're going to be able to get receivers. I think they'll be able to get receivers, and not only will they be able to get receivers, they're going to be receivers that are going to put up numbers. I think it's the system and the ability and the way that they are able to recruit. So no matter what somebody's rated, I'm totally cool with it. If they're okay with it, keep in mind this is a guy that brought in Jacob Cowing, brought in T-Mac, brought in Kevin Green, AJ Jones. So they got a pretty good track record right here. So I'm going to be more than okay with any of the receivers they bring in. All right, now a little bit of a bummer news, but got to cover it either way. Carter Stoutmire, safety out of Texas. Father Omar played with the Dallas Cowboys. He is decommitted. And again, I don't have any insight on this, but the rumblings seem to be that he's going to go to Colorado to play for Dion. Keep in mind, his father played with Dion in Dallas, so it wouldn't surprise me if Carter Stoutmire does end up there. All right, now we're going to talk. We're going to talk a little bit about where Arizona lands in the grand scheme of all of this, and what you can maybe look for going forward. But first, got to talk a little. Let's go to LinkedIn right here. All right, this segment is obviously brought to you by LinkedIn. And this is the number one place. Get the applicants you need for free. And this, again, sponsored by LinkedIn. Here's the deal. You can post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege, and you'll be able to get some of the best candidates out there. Everybody knows that, when it comes to LinkedIn, that everybody's gotten a job there. I think, when you see it, I think the exciting thing about it, though, is that everybody knows, and because it works, that's what's so great about it. It works. Check it out, linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Post your job for free. Get the applicants you need for free. And continuing with the recruiting, because, again, that kind of goes with the LinkedIn segment. We'll talk a few other players. Arizona also looking at a guy, Bill Norton, out of Georgia, defensive tackle. Now, a lot of people say, well, Bill didn't do a ton when he was at Georgia. Well, keep in mind, he's at Georgia. So that's going to be, that will kind of come with that's going to kind of come with the territory there a little bit. Georgia is the best best football program in the nation right now. But he did get a little burn. He did get a little bit of PT. And at the Pac-12 level, if you can get him, that's a good look. I don't know. He probably won't start, but if he can give you a little bit of, depth right there, that's something that you're going to take, and you're going to take every single day of the week. So again, Bill Norton, guy that you're probably going to look at. Let's take a quick break, come back with us, and we're going to continue to talk some Arizona football and what some positions to maybe look at during this offseason. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, as we all know, we're talking some Arizona basketball right here and some Arizona football. That's what we do around here. Now, looking at the receiver position, a guy that we haven't probably given enough kudos to, and that is Braden Dorman. Now, 4-star kid out of Colorado. Now, keep in mind, not only is he a 4-star kid out of Colorado, but he's big. He's different than anybody on this roster. At about 6'5", he's got a big arm. He's built fantastic, and that's just kind of he's got a great build to him. He's built differently than Noah Fafita. He's built differently than Noah Fafita. And you know what? That's that's fine. Totally different skill set, but I do think that this is a guy that's going to be pretty good in the grand scheme of things. I expect, and I could be totally wrong, I don't have any insight in this, but I think this will probably be Jaden Delora's last year at the U of A. Again, just a guess, no insight on any of that. But one thing that I think is that's fascinating about this entire spot, though, is the one thing that I think is interesting, though, about all of this is where exactly Arizona can get at that position right there. So again, we'll find that one out. But I think the quarterback position is set. If you're Arizona, that QB situation looks good. It looks mighty and tidy. And again, you got to give a lot of credit. You got to give a lot of credit to what they've been able to do right there. Jedd Fisch has talked about how he wants to build depth upon depth upon depth. And not only has he been able to build depth upon depth, he's built it at the most important positions. So look at it this way. If you've got Jaden Delora, if you've got Noah Fafita, and if you got Jaden Delora, if you got Noah Fafita, and you've got Braden Dorman, though that's about as good a spot for Arizona as that you're going to be able to find in history, because there's no way that all three of those guys that won't be good. We already know Delora's good. Fafita is flashed, and Dorman comes in with a high-level pedigree as well. So, again, that's kind of where we're at with that. Now, real quick, the NHTSA, National Highway Traffic Safety. We're in the holiday year right now, and so don't do anything that's dumb or unreasonable when it comes to driving. How many times have you found somebody that says, "Oh, I'm good to drive," and they're really not good to drive? We're in the day of Uber. I mean, there's really no excuse not to be able to do this. Now, when it comes to it can affect everybody's life. So drive safely, because if you don't drive safely, then you can not only can you impact somebody else's life, you can impact your own life for the rest of your life. So again, during the holiday seasons, either if you're going to drink, just get an Uber, because again, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it for you. It's not worth it for others. And it's just kind of the way it is. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with you. Thanks for keeping it locked on, Wildcats. I am your host, Michael Luke. All right. Now we've been talking nonstop about Arizona football and the great shape that it's in, and Arizona basketball, which is one of the top 5 teams in the country. Arizona, the state of Arizona athletics right now is very, very good. And it's exciting. Arizona football has a high upside under Jedd Fisch. The talent that he's been able to bring in has been incredibly good. And he revamped that entire offense in 1 year's time. You generally don't see that. That was impressive stuff. Now he's going about fixing the defense. And while I don't think that the defense will make the improvement that the offense made, could be totally wrong on that, but I don't see that necessarily happening. But there is that potential right there. So we'll find out about that. But big kudos as always. I always like ending on this when when it comes to Dave Hickey, when it comes to President Robbins. You've got really, really good situations here with Arizona basketball, with Arizona football. And not only that, you got 2 coaches that want to be there and look happy doing what they're doing, which is an underrated thing. I mean, this is still college athletics at the end of the day. So again, check it out. I do think so, but again, good times to be an Arizona fan. We will be back with you tomorrow, though, on Wednesday, talking about Arizona-Montana State, which I expect to be a destruction. and where Arizona basketball, where Arizona football looks going forward. As always, really appreciate you all. You've been listening to Locked On Wild.